Let's just get into it right away, folks. Donald Trump started the day giving an interview with a far right-wing host named Monica Crowley, where Donald Trump said he doesn't want to do any unity, no more unity, he says. Here, play this clip.
So, when you talk unity, I think it's a question for down the road, because we have to save the country before we think about total unity. This country's going down.
And then he proceeded to speak in both Pennsylvania and in Washington, D.C., where he gave the opposite message of unity. For example, when he spoke in Washington, D.C., he started attacking Vice President Kamala Harris. He said, this one, referring to her, he said, this one didn't want to debate. Totally false. Vice President Kamala Harris has always said she's ready to debate. She's doing the debate on ABC that they agreed to. Donald Trump, withdrew multiple times from it, but it's always going to be disinformation from him. Here's what Donald Trump said when he spoke with the Moms for Liberty in Washington, D.C. By the way, Moms for Liberty was also meeting with Project 2025, and they also contribute to Project 2025's education section. Here, watch this.
That's right. You don't have to do anything. We saw that the other night, and you won't see too many more interviews. And I have a debate coming up with this one, and she didn't want to debate. She didn't want to debate. They were not happy about it, but they got the network that they wanted. This network is the worst of all. George Slopadopoulos, you know who he is. But they are the worst in terms of that. So they want.
And before that, Donald Trump was speaking in Pennsylvania. And just take a look what he was saying in Pennsylvania. Play this clip.
But what happened, with Afghanistan, I do the weave. You know what the weave is? I'll talk about 9 different things, and they all come back brilliantly together. And it's and friends of mine that are English professors, they say, it's the most brilliant thing I've ever seen. But the fake news, you know what they say? He rambled. That's not rambling. What you do is you get off a subject to mention another little tidbit, then you get back onto the subject, and you go through this, and you do it for 2 hours, and you don't even mispronounce one word.
Here's another clip of Donald Trump in Pennsylvania.
But the fake news is doing everything possible, everything they can to help Kamala Harris. Do you ever notice nobody knows what her last name is? I go, okay, I'm going to give you the first name. Tell me the last name. I say, Kamala. They have no idea who the hell she is.
By the way, shout out to local Michigan journalists who were able to identify how Donald Trump was lying when he spoke in Michigan recently, in a small town that maybe holds about 3,000 people. And Donald Trump claimed that there were thousands and thousands of people, more people than the eye could see, waiting outside for him. Utterly and totally false. They had the video proof. Here it is right here. You see that there were not thousands of people waiting outside. I don't even know if there were tens of people waiting outside. Judge for yourself. And then listen to what Donald Trump had to say. Here, play this clip.
Outside, they won't ever report this. They never report it. Outside, you have thousands and thousands of people that couldn't get in. They don't get seats like you guys. They didn't get the seats that you got, believe me. But you have thousands and thousands of people outside, as far as the eye could see, as we're driving up.
Going back to what Donald Trump also said in Pennsylvania. Here, play this clip.
And it was so beautiful. And we left, and everything was nice. And then later on that day, I heard that we were using the graves of those soldiers for public relations purposes, And that was all put out by the White House. Joe Biden killed those young people because he was incompetent. And then they tell me that I used their graves for public relations services.
Some important data to provide for you as well. Let's just take a look at some voter registration data. As Tom Bonnier writes, I graphed the percent of new registrants who were women for every day of the past 2 years. This is just the 15 states where we have files updated since July 21's candidate change. Look at the spike in late July. The Harris effect is adding to the Dobbs effect, surpassing the 2022 peaks. I think that's some big data. Again, take a look at the graph. Tom Bonnier also says, okay, I've updated this chart with every state we have now. This is 15 states, including some battlegrounds and red states. We'll continue to update this and break out specific states as we update more state files. Just take a look at the increase in voter registration amongst groups that are likely to vote for Vice President Kamala Harris. The energy is palpable right now as Donald Trump is doing whatever you see him doing there. When you compare Donald Trump's speeches, of course, to Vice President Kamala Harris speaking in Savannah, it's like night and day. Here's Vice President Kamala Harris in Savannah. Play the clip.
And unlike Donald Trump, I will always put the middle class and working class families first. Always. I come from the middle class. I know what I'm talking about.
You may assume that you're getting everything your body needs from your diet or simple green juice, but I recently discovered that most people, including myself, are still short on essential nutrients our bodies need to function at our momentous creatine, omega-3, and protein daily to ensure that all of my bases are covered. These 3 supplements support nearly every aspect of my foundational health, from aiding my cognitive function to reducing inflammation in my muscles and joints, just to name a few. My momentous daily protocol has become a staple in my health routine and makes the perfect addition to other wellness products that are part of my toolkit as well. Look, supplements can feel like a dirty word, and navigating the space can be daunting due to the lack of trust and transparency in the space. But I've come to learn that I can trust Momentous, which makes the decision easier. My trust in Momentous is because of their dedication to working with the best, from their collaboration with experts to their unparalleled commitment to only using the highest quality ingredients. And they invest in third-party testing, holding their products to the same types of standards set by the most demanding organizations in the world, like the NFL and the NBA. They call it the Momentous Standard, which is really the industry's leading standard in quality. Look, there's a reason why the world's best athletes and experts use and help develop Momentous products. So if you're like me and you want to take supplements that are made by and used by the best in the world, go to livemomentous.com/MeidasTouch and use the code MeidasTouch to get up to 20% off your first order. That's livemomentous.com/MeidasTouch and use the code MeidasTouch. Trump media stock is also imploding right now. It's under $20 a share. It's decreased 52.54% over the past 6 months. Some devastating numbers there. Also, Donald Trump's alma mater, UPenn, if he even really actually attended classes there, although his professor says he was the worst student ever. According to a UPenn economic study at Wharton, Donald Trump's economic proposals would increase federal deficits by $5.8 trillion over the next decade, almost 5 times more than those of Vice President Kamala Harris, which would add $1.2 trillion, according to a new pair of studies from the nonpartisan Penn-Wharton budget model. But I assume Donald Trump will be ready to attack his own school, which he likes to brag about. One of the other things that Donald Trump was doing yesterday was he was trying to send messages to his MAGAs to shut down the government and not fund the government. I'm going to do a full report on that as well, but nothing surprises me there with Donald Trump. And finally, in Donald Trump's last 24 hours, Donald Trump flip-flopped on a major position. Of course, on Thursday, you may have seen our reports that Donald Trump said that he was going to vote yes on a referendum in Florida that would overrule the 6-month abortion ban. And then Donald Trump got a lot of pressure from right-wing groups to change that position. So Donald Trump said that he was going to vote no on the week abortion ban. In other words, basically saying that he's okay with the 6-week abortion ban in Florida. He wants that to be in place. And we were always wondering here, and our editor-in-chief, Ron Filipkowski, has been pointing out that Donald Trump is yet to answer how he was going to vote on the referendum. Let me just show you the flip-flop here. This was on Thursday when Donald Trump was asked by an NBC reporter how he was going to vote on the referendum. Donald Trump seemed to indicate he was going to be voting yes to overturn the 6-week abortion ban. Here, play this clip.
You overturned Roe, and you want abortion to be a states' rights issue. In Florida, the state that you are a resident of, there's an abortion-related amendment on the ballot to overturn the 6-week ban in Florida. How are you going to vote on that?
Well, I think the 6-week is too short. It has to be more time. And so and I've told them that I want more weeks.
So you'll vote in favor of the amendment?
I am going to be voting that we need more than 6 weeks. Look, just so you understand.
And then within a 24-hour period, Donald Trump said the exact opposite and said that he was going to be voting no, meaning keeping the 6-week abortion ban in place. Here, play this clip.
Voting yes or no on Amendment 4 in Florida.
So I think 6 weeks, you need more time than 6 weeks. I've disagreed with that right from the early primaries. When I heard about it, I disagreed with it. At the same time, the Democrats are radical because the 9 months is just a ridiculous situation where you can do an abortion in the 9th month. And, some of the states like Minnesota and other states have it where you could actually execute the baby after birth. And all of that stuff is unacceptable. So I'll be voting no for that reason.
Let me also just show you from Donald Trump's speech with the interview with the Moms for Liberty, getting very creepy about Ivanka, mentioned that he wants to make Ivanka the UN secretary. Here, play this clip.
But she gave it up because she wanted to go and she didn't want something like the United Nations secretary. I wanted her to do that. I said, you would be a great ambassador to the United Nations secretary. There'd be nobody to compete with her. I tell you, she may be my daughter, but nobody could have competed with her rat-tat-tat, the whole deal she's got.
And then he said this about Ivanka as well. Play the clip.
Like, Ivanka was she could have done anything. Great student, great, beautiful girl, beautiful everything. She was a perfect person, worked hard. She gave up. Do you remember the Ivanka line and all?
I loved those shoes. Please tell your daughter. She made great shoes.
She was making so much money with that thing. I was saying, what the hell is going on? It was so hot.
Very strange stuff, folks. Hey, hit subscribe. I want to get to 4 million subscribers together. We appreciate you. Have a wonderful day.
Hey, Midas Mighty. Love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.